You know that feeling when you're just trying to give your kid one normal afternoon in the pool after burying your wife. And the neighborhood dictator treats you like a felon because you didn't have her sacred plastic key? That's exactly how Marcus Bennett's fresh start in Willow Creek, Ohio turned into the most satisfying takedown you'll hear all year. Marcus had moved to Willow Creek 6 weeks earlier with his 12-year-old daughter Emma. Chasing the kind of quiet suburban life the brochures promised, tree-lined streets, a private lake, and caring neighbors who value standards. What the brochures left out was Victoria Langford, the HOA president who treated those standards like her personal religion and everyone else like sinners. The rumors started before the moving truck was even empty. He's the widower. You know. Barely keeps the lawn. Probably still unstable. Victoria made sure the gossip mill ran overtime. Marcus heard the whispers at the mailbox. Saw the side eyes at the community mailbox cluster. He could have pushed back. Instead he smiled politely, nodded, and watched. Because the man who had just lost the love of his life had learned one thing in the hospital waiting rooms: patience is a weapon. He played the long game. One bright Saturday, Marcus and Emma finally headed to the community pool. The welcome packet never mentioned a key. They'd been there twice before without issue. Today the gate was locked. Victoria appeared like a shark smelling blood. Pastel polo shirt tucked into pressed khakis. Bluetooth earpiece glowing like a crown. "Excuse me," she called. Voice syrupy sweet at first. "This is a key access area only. I'm going to have to ask you both to leave." Marcus kept his tone even. "We just moved in, Mrs. Langford. No one gave us a key. The packet didn't mention it." Victoria's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, bless your heart. Ignorance of the rules isn't a defense. We've had reports of unauthorized use lately. It's for everyone's safety, especially the children." She glanced at Emma in her unicorn swimsuit like the girl was a threat to national security. Emma tugged his hand. "Dad. It's fine. We can go home." But Marcus had endured enough whispered slander. "We're residents. We pay the fees. The pool is listed as an amenity. Can we just get the key situation sorted?" Victoria pulled out her phone like it was a badge. "I've already documented this. Repeated violations. I'm afraid I'm going to have to involve the authorities if you refuse to comply." Marcus laughed once, short, disbelieving. "You're calling the cops over a pool key? Rules are rules, Mr. Bennett. Or should I say, Mr. I don't think the rules apply to me." Her voice carried across the pool deck. A few neighbors who had been sunbathing suddenly found their phones very interesting. 10 minutes later a sheriff's deputy rolled up. Victoria greeted him like an old friend, voice trembling with manufactured concern. "Officer. He's been hostile. Refusing to leave. I fear for the safety of our community." The deputy looked uncomfortable. Marcus stood there in swim trunks. Water still dripping. Emma hiding behind him. He didn't raise his voice. He simply said, "I'm happy to leave, officer. But I'd like it noted this is the first time anyone mentioned a key requirement." Victoria's face flushed with victory. "See? He's already arguing." Typical. That was the moment something shifted in Marcus. Not rage. Cold, patient clarity. He walked Emma home. Made her favorite mac and cheese. Then spent the rest of the night reading every line of the HOA covenants. By morning he had a spreadsheet. By the end of the week he had coffee with 3 different neighbors who all told the same story with the same nervous laugh. "Old Mr. Delgado," She fined me $300 because my recycling bin had one can facing the wrong way. One can. Said it was visual pollution. The young couple on Maple Lane, we wanted to paint our front door navy. She rejected it 6 times. Said it disrupted neighborhood harmony. Then her cousin's real estate company suddenly listed a similar house down the street for way under market. Marcus listened. He nodded. He asked gentle questions. And he kept digging. What he found was beautiful in its ugliness. Victoria wasn't just petty. She was running a quiet little racket. Excessive fines on problem families, newcomers, single parents, anyone who questioned her until they sold. Then her side company, Langford Properties, swooped in at bargain prices. The money trail was hidden behind special assessments and emergency maintenance funds, but once Marcus got the public records and cross-referenced with county filings, the pattern was undeniable. She had forced out 4 families in the last 2 years alone. He didn't confront her. He waited. The annual HOA meeting was held in the clubhouse on a perfect June evening, string lights, lemonade, the whole fake-friendly circus. Victoria stood at the front in a blazer that probably cost more than Marcus's monthly mortgage, smiling like a benevolent dictator. Thank you all for coming. We have several important items on the agenda, starting with stricter enforcement of pool protocols after a recent incident. Marcus stood up from the back row. Actually, Victoria, I have an important item too. The room went still. Victoria's smile tightened. Mr. Bennett, this isn't the time for personal grievances. Oh. It's not personal, he said calmly, walking forward with a folder. It's about the last 27 months of HOA finances, selective enforcement, and how certain families have been fined into selling their homes to, well, let's just say interested parties. He started laying out printed spreadsheets on the table in front of her. Dates, fine amounts, property transfers, bank records showing transfers from HOA accounts to Langford Properties shell accounts. Every piece of paper was public record, he'd made sure of that. Victoria's face went through the stages beautifully. First, confident dismissal. These are ridiculous accusations from a man who can't even follow basic pool rules. Then, anger. This is a smear campaign. He's been hostile since day one because I dared to uphold standards. Then, the mask really cracked when old Mr. Delgado stood up and said, My wife cried for 3 days after you fined us for having a tacky wreath. We almost lost the house because of you. The room erupted. Victoria's voice rose to a shrill pitch. You people have no idea what it takes to maintain property values. I have sacrificed for this community. Marcus leaned in slightly, voice still low. You sacrificed other people's homes. Victoria. That's not sacrifice. That's greed wearing a pastel polo. For the first time, she looked small. The woman who had terrorized the neighborhood with clipboard and condescending bless your heart was now sweating under bright fluorescent lights while her neighbors, her former loyal subjects, started sharing their own stories one after another. By the time the vote to remove her as president was called, it was unanimous. She tried one last desperate play. Voice shaking. You'll regret this. All of you. Without me, this place will fall apart. Marcus smiled for the first time in weeks. Funny. I think it's finally going to breathe. Victoria stormed out. The door slammed so hard a framed photo of the perfect community fell off the wall and shattered. In the months that followed, Willow Creek changed in small, beautiful ways. The new board, made up of actual residents, repealed the most ridiculous rules. Pool keys became fobs that were automatically issued. Fines required board approval instead of one woman's whim. People started talking to each other again instead of reporting each other. Marcus and Emma swam in the pool whenever they wanted. No key drama. No dirty looks. Just a dad and his daughter floating on their backs, looking up at the Ohio sky, finally feeling like they belonged somewhere. And every time Marcus drove past Victoria's house, now with a for sale sign in the yard because the gossip mill had finally turned on her, he allowed himself one small, satisfied smile. The woman who thought she owned the neighborhood learned the hardest lesson of all: bullies only win until someone patient enough decides to play the game better. So here's the question I want you to answer honestly in the comments. Was Marcus the villain for methodically taking down the HOA president, or was Victoria the real threat to community standards all along? Who was actually in the wrong here, the grieving dad who finally fought back, or the Karen who weaponized rules for profit? Drop your take. Team Marcus or Team Victoria? I read every single one.